everyone, good afternoon and welcome to Yoga After Work. Before we begin with our asana practice today, I'd like to invite you to come into hero's pose, just sitting on your ankles. If that's too uncomfortable, feel free to sit cross-legged or even on a pillow if that suits you. Open up your palms to the sky, close your eyes, and take 3 grounding breaths. Just inhaling and exhaling, leaving everything behind that you've brought here with you today. And just check in with yourself. How's your body feeling? How's your energy today? And how are your emotions? Don't judge, simply observe. No matter where you are today, it's absolutely perfect. It's exactly where you're supposed to be. Open your eyes, and we're going to start with a short pranayama practice. This breath work is called Nadi Shodhana, and it really helps to balance out both sides of your body. In most 9-to-5 jobs, we tend to use the left side, our logical brain, so much. So after we come back from a long day, it can be really, really grounding to balance out both of those sides. So all you're going to do is you're going to take your right hand or your dominant hand, if that happens to be your left. You're going to take your ring finger and place it on your left nostril. I really like to use my index and my middle finger and place them between my eyebrows where the third eye chakra is located. You're going to take your thumb and place it on your right nostril. And all you're going to do is you're going to open up that left nostril. You're going to breathe in through there. You're going to close off both nostrils. You're going to open up the right nostril and breathe out through there. Breathe in through the right, close off both, breathe out through the left. Breathe in through the left, close off both, breathe out through the right. And just take this at your own pace. Closing off the right nostril, opening the left, breathing out. Breathe in, close off both, and breathe out. Lower your hands, close your eyes, and just see how you feel. Has that made any difference to your state of mind? Do you feel more grounded, more calm, more balanced? And if you don't, that's perfectly fine as well. Just notice. See how you feel. We're going to come into child's pose now. I'm going to lower down my camera because you can't see anything. You're going to sit back at the back of your mat, stretch your arms forward, and come into child's pose. If this is not comfortable for you, please feel free to sit on a block or on a pillow. If this hurts your knees. And then what we're going to do is we're going to roll our backs forward, tuck our tailbone, come into a cat position, and then lower our tailbone and come into cow. We're going to change between these two for a while, arching your back, and then roll back and tuck your tailbone. And you can roll your hips if that feels comfortable, coming into naughty kitten. Just get out all those kinks from sitting all day. We're gonna roll back into the other direction. And then come back into child's pose. We're gonna come back onto all fours and then roll into upward facing dog, simply extending your knees. You can change between these two for a little bit. Roll forward into upward facing dog. Try and lift your thighs off the ground and then come back into child's pose. The next time you're in upward facing dog, tuck your toes and see if you can press yourself into downward facing dog. If that does not work, feel free to come onto all fours and just extend your legs from there. Just walk out your downward facing dog for a bit. Those hamstrings can get really tight over a long day of work, so show them some love. And then roll forward into plank position. You can get onto your knees and then lower your chest, lower your chin, slide forward into upward facing dog, and then just come back into child's pose. What we're going to do now is we're going to come into puppy pose. All you're going to do is you're going to get onto all fours, make sure you have some grounding in your knees, and then extend your arms forward and just slide your chest down. This should feel really good if you've been working at a desk all day, hunched over, looking at a computer or at your phone, because this opens up your chest in the other direction. Just giving you some more room to work with, opening up your heart, stretching the shoulders and the back a little bit. And just breathe. Feel that opening sensation in your chest. Feel how your shoulders are opening. And then all you're going to do is you're going to bend your elbows and you're going to lower your hips down and come into a baby cobra. Lengthen your spine and just see how you feel. Has that changed anything at all? How's your spine feeling? How are your shoulders feeling? They're a little bit more open. And then whilst we're down here, we're going to give our lower backs a little bit of love and strengthen them a little bit, because this is an area that, especially if you're working at an office all day, can get really tight, and we don't really use our lower backs an awful lot these days. So what you're going to do is you're going to place your palms down. You're going to place your left cheek onto your hands and then lift everything up. You can really feel that in your lower back now. And then come down and lower your right cheek onto your hands. Come up and then change to the left cheek. Inhale and come up. Exhale, lower your cheek. Inhale and come up. Exhale and lower your cheek, left cheek down. One more time. And let your right cheek come onto your hands. Get your forehead onto your hands and just notice how your lower back's feeling now. Is it activated? Can you feel that area of your body? Just notice. And then get your hands next to your chest and press back into child's pose. I'm going to take a breath here. And then we're going to come onto all fours, tuck your toes, and just press up into downward facing dog. See how your ankles are feeling. Maybe give them a little bit of a roll. And then we're going to lift up our right leg, bend our knee, and stack your hips. Look over your left shoulder and see if you can see that right foot. And then all you're going to do is you're going to come forward with that right chest and just plop it down at the side of your mat. Adjust your leggings, because that's essential. And then if you feel feel like it, come down with your left knee, place it on the ground, and then either stay here if that's more than enough for you, that's perfectly fine, or you can roll your right foot onto the lateral side, the pinky toe area, and then if you still feel like you've got some give, come onto your elbows and just breathe. This is called lizard pose, and it's really beneficial not only to stretch out this right hip, but also to stretch the psoas muscle that helps keep your body upright. That can get really tight if you're sitting all day. So this should feel really good for you. Come back onto your hands, tuck your left toes, press up, come back into three-legged dog, place that right foot down, walk your dog out, and just see how you feel. Gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. Lift up your left knee, bend that knee, look over your right shoulder to see that foot if you can, and then bring your left leg forward to the outside of your mat. Adjust your leggings. Place your right knee down and either stay here if that's enough of a stretch for you, or you can roll your foot onto the pinky toe area and then come down onto your elbows. And just breathe and feel that stretch. This should feel really good right now. Stretching that psoas muscle, stretching that left hip. And then come back onto your hands, tuck your right toes, press up into three-legged dog, place your left foot down, roll forward like a wave into plank position, lower your arms down, come into upward facing dog, and then press back into downward facing dog. You're going to lift your right leg up again, and what we're going to do now is bring your right knee to your right hand and your feet, your right foot to your left hand. So your shin should be in line with the front of your mat. If it's not, that's perfectly fine if you're not there yet. And this is quite a deep stretch for your glutes. You can just prop your leg a little bit closer to your groin, that's perfectly fine. But if you feel like you've got that opening, you can either stay up here or come down onto your elbows again and come into pigeon pose. And just breathe here. See how you feel. This is a really good stretch for the glutes and your lower back. And again, for that psoas on the left side. So just enjoy that stretch, breathe into it. If you feel any pain in the knee, you can always come onto your right butt cheek and angle that left knee and then see if you've got a little bit more space there. Come onto your hands, press back into downward facing dog. And we're just going to repeat that same thing on the other side. So bring your left leg up, bend that knee, look over your right shoulder, and then bring your left knee to your left hand and your left foot to your right hand. Get that shin in line with the front of your mat or your carpet if you're like me. And then either stay up there or come down onto your elbows. You can even come down with your chest. The most important part is that you're pulling downward from your hip. You're not just arching your spine trying to get down. You roll your shoulders back and your chest is coming down. And just breathe here for a moment. See how that feels for you. And then come up onto your hands, tuck your right toes, press yourself up into downward facing dog. Walk up your dog. Roll forward into plank, down into chaturanga. Breathe in, upward facing dog. And then press back. Breathe out into downward facing dog. You can lower down your knees, sit back, and then come to the top of your mat and place your feet together. We're gonna stretch out both hips now to balance out those two sides that we've just done. We're gonna come into butterfly pose. So you're gonna place your feet together, knees are open wide. If you're here, that's perfectly fine. If you can go all the way down, that's perfect as well. Just see where you're at with this. Then grab your feet with your hands. Get your hips to move forward in space. And make sure you're not folding from the lower back. This can be really damaging for your lumbar spine. So get your chest forward, shoulders back, and then see how far you can lower down. You should really feel this in the inner thigh or groin area. This really helps to stretch out the hips, balance off those two sides of the body. Just breathe. Notice how you feel. Notice how your energy's changed over the practice. And then come back up and come into cross-legged position or back into hero's pose if that's more comfortable for you. We're gonna reach our arms up to the sky, bring our hands down to our heart. And another big reach with an inhale. Exhale, bring your hands down to your heart and bow down to yourself, thanking yourself for this wonderful practice, for giving yourself some time after a busy day. Namaste.